Nala's son was indeed not an ordinary child. The boy was named Fela, meaning the heart of goodness. From the day he was born, the people called him the child who waited. He grew fast, strong, and different. As a toddler, he rarely cried. He would sit under the iroko tree where his mother once prayed, staring at the wind like he could see things others could not. When he turned 5, strange things began to happen around him. If he laughed, the goats would start bleating loudly in the yard. If he frowned, the wind would rise suddenly and blow dust into people's eyes. Some said he carried the strength of the gods. Others whispered that he was still half spirit. But Nala only smiled when people spoke. She raised him with love and patience. She taught him to greet elders, to share food, and to never raise his hand in anger. She told him stories of his birth and how she had carried him for 2 years. "You are not like others," she would say, "so walk gently in this world." Fela grew into a tall, quiet young man. His father taught him to farm, and soon their land began to yield more than ever before. The yams grew larger, the maize greener, and the rains always seemed to fall kindly on their fields. People came from other villages to ask him to touch their seeds before planting. They said anything Fela blessed would grow, but not everyone was pleased. Some elders began to fear his power. They said no human should have such a gift. One day, when the harvest was richer than ever, a rumor spread that Fela had made a secret pact with spirits. The chief summoned him to the shrine, just as his mother had once been called. The priest asked him, "What power do you use to make your farm so fruitful?" Fela bowed his head and said, "Only the strength my mother gave me and the kindness of the earth." The priest stared for a long time, then he nodded slowly. "The gods have marked you," he said, "but your heart will decide if you bring blessing or curse." Years passed. Fela married, and his fame grew beyond the village. He began to travel to nearby towns, teaching farmers how to care for the land. Wherever he went, crops flourished. He refused gifts of wealth and chose to live simply, close to his people. When his mother grew old, he built her a small hut near the river so she could rest and watch the water flow. Every evening, he came to sit beside her, just as she once sat praying under the iroko tree. The villagers no longer feared him. They began to call him Fela the Blessed. They said he was the proof that patience could bear fruit, that even what seems delayed by the gods has its time. And when Nala finally closed her eyes for the last time, Fela buried her under the big iroko tree, the same place where her tears once fell. He planted yams beside her grave, and each season they grew taller and stronger than any others in the village. People said her spirit still watched over him, whispering through the leaves, reminding everyone that what waits longest often shines the brightest.